Los Angeles. It's the Tom Leykis Show.
What?
And now, here he is, Tom Leykis. Thank you for tuning into the Tom Leykis Show. This is where America gets together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's a different kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No, I am your host. Write down our toll-free telephone number. You're going to need it at 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. You may recognize this call from a recent edition of the Tom Leykis Show. His name was Mike. We had done a show about doing the right thing. You know what that's all about, right? You know, for example, you knock up a chick that you barely know, and you decide you're going to stay with her. Because being with your child would be the quote-unquote right thing to do. You may remember this call. Mike called in, and this was pretty pathetic, actually.
I'll tell you something. This story goes back 30 years ago, and I'm going to tell these young puppies something. 30 years ago, I was going out with this one girl, and I was happy. I thought I was, and I was having a good time, and I was in the Marines. I had already done 2 years in the Marines. I was 19 years old. And I met this other girl. It was like a one-night stand, and we started going out, but I wasn't serious. It was just somebody to go to bed with. What happened? She comes up pregnant. So for 30 years, I married this woman. I bought her a home, bought her cars. I did everything I could. But every day I looked at myself in the mirror, and I used to say to myself, why are you doing this, man? Because you tell yourself, you know what, I'm loyal, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to stick by my woman, and she's going to have this baby, and I'm going to take care of it. But you know what? If you're not in love, you know what happens? You hate yourself. You hate all your decisions, all your thoughts. You forget the meaning of love. Now, so many years go by, you get hard inside. You get to hating that person. But you're smart enough that you know if you hurt that person, you're going to land up in prison the rest of your life. So you sit there day after day, night after night, looking at this individual. You listen to her breathe, you listen to her eat, you listen to her laugh, and the whole thing, you can't stand it. And then you go with her family, and they know that you don't like your woman, so they don't give you the full respect and the full likings. They look at you like, when is this guy going to drop dead? You feel it because that's what a man's about. But you still go home with these feelings, and you look at yourself day after day for 30 years, looking at myself. It wasn't fair to my son. Because as time goes by, let me tell you something, gentlemen, you become hard inside. And when you become hard inside, kid or no kid, you tend to lose love for that child. You start pushing it aside and you start telling your kid, we'll go to the park tomorrow. We'll do this tomorrow. We'll do this next week. When he says, hey, Dad, throw a ball with me, the whole time you don't want to because you got that image right next to you that you can't stand. So you do take it out on your child. Might not be physically, but mentally, spiritually. For 30 years, I did this thinking that was the right thing to do. Let me tell you something, gentlemen, and I speak from experience. I'm 49 years old today, and it's not the right thing to do. If you go out and you have an experience with a woman and she gets pregnant, and you know in your heart you're not in love, it's not fair to her, it's not fair to that child, it's not fair to all the surrounding people that know her and love her and you. But most of all, and mark my words, every time you look in that mirror, you're going to look at yourself and you're going to hate yourself more and more every day. You get to hating yourself. And now, my option was, when she met me, she told me, she got pregnant, she said, who's going to tell your mom? I said, tell my mom what? Tell your mom that I'm pregnant. Is it going to be me or you? So 30 years later, I gave her the option. Who's going to tell your son we're getting divorced, me or you? But you know what? Let me tell you something. You think it's a bunch of bells and whistles and you're going to run around and go, man, I'm divorced, I'm this, I'm that, I'm getting separated and all that. It's not. Because for 30 years you've made yourself so callous, so hard, that it's not a big reunion. It's not a big happiness at the end. You're beating yourself down so bad, physically, mentally, spiritually, any way you can think of. You hate yourself so bad that all you do is exist in this world. My hair's getting gray. I see wrinkles. My bones don't feel like they used to feel when I was 17 years old. My career, I was in the Marines and I wanted to be a Marine. I see all that past me, all because I thought I was doing the right thing. And you know what? All I did was destroy a lot of lives, including my own, all these years, because I wasn't man enough to walk up to this woman and say, you know what? I'm not in love with you. I'll do my share in raising this child 100%. And showing that dedication, the loyalty to raising that child together, putting all my strength in that, I didn't. I chose to say, I'll stay with you. And it was my son that paid for it. And now that I'm 30 years later, I see the change between him and me. And I don't blame him. I blame myself for the decision I made 30 years ago. So let me tell you something, gentlemen. If you think that you're going to stay with this woman for 18 years, you're not. And if you do, you better prepare to give up your soul. You better prepare to give up your love. You better prepare to give up your dignity. And you better be prepared to give up your respect of yourself. Because I guarantee you, and I speak from experience, every time you look at yourself, you hate that person that you created with a bad decision.
That is pathetic and yet very eloquent. That man paid with his life, essentially. That was Mike. And he had a lot of guts to call in and say those things about himself and about other people like himself. Now, we talked a lot on this program about Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez, and, of course, we had a lot of fun at their expense. But you got to give Ben Affleck credit for one thing. Of course, you're going to say he dumped that bitch, and that's true. But more importantly, he finally, whether it was because his friends intervened or because he had a bad dream or because he lucked out and she wanted to postpone the wedding, who knows what really happened. The bottom line is he had the guts to call a spade and to realize that that relationship was never going to work. And even though all the press was following the details of the wedding, and even though they were on the cover of magazines, and even though the tabloid TV shows were following them and staying in hotels near them and everything, he summoned up the courage to say, you know what, this doesn't work, won't work for me, not happening, I'm not going to go ahead with it. But you know what? I don't think most people have the guts to do that. I think most people, when they're in a relationship, don't know how to break up. They don't know how to walk away. They don't know how to say, this isn't working. And the result is they go ahead, doubts and all. They go ahead, worries and all. They go ahead with every red flag. They go ahead and they get into a relationship or a marriage. Down the line, they become like Mike. They realize, they look over at the person they're with. They have nothing in common with them. I did a show once where people called in and said they wish the person they were with would die. Can you imagine being in a relationship where rather than being a man or a woman and stepping up to the plate as an adult and saying, this is wrong, I can't take this anymore, imagine you would just live with it the way it is? Imagine you would have children and go to work every day and come home and feel miserable and look at that other person with contempt and disgust. Some people don't have to imagine it. There are people listening to me right now. They don't have to be Mike's age. Some of them are a lot younger than Mike, who are in the same kind of circumstance. They are with someone they don't love. They are with someone for whom they have contempt. In fact, they have contempt for themselves for staying around. Now, think hard. Are you a person like that? Are you with someone you just simply don't love? Are you with someone you have contempt for? Someone we're not kidding around. I mean someone you really can't stand. People love to complain and say, oh, my wife nags me, blah, blah, no. I'm talking about somebody that, it's like the old line by Sam Kinison that, Sam Kinison used to say, every night I have to come home and drink a goddamn six-pack of Heineken just to keep from cutting your effing head off. That's true contempt. Think hard. Man or woman, are you this kind of person? Were you not adult enough to say, you know what, before I make a mistake, I'm going to stop this from happening? Are you like the Walking Dead? Every day you just kind of go through the paces, knowing you have to go home to that? Ever refer to your spouse as that? Or it? Or the spouse? Or the husband? Or derisively him or her? Ever find yourself killing time? Just going home later and later every night because going home is too much to imagine? Ordering another picture of Sam Adams and sitting around, let's just have one more. Ever done that? Because you know eventually you have to go home to that. And you didn't have the balls to walk out. You just kind of stayed and stayed and stayed. And you're still there, right? You're still there. Maybe you're driving around in circles right now. You're not even banging other people or anything. There's nothing going on necessarily. You're just like, you'll do anything. You'll play pool. You'll go watch another game. And you love sitting in traffic listening to the Tom Leykis Show. You listen to the reruns. You drive around listening to the replays of the show. You listen to whatever's on after us because you're still driving around. You know what's on at midnight on this station, which I don't even know, but you know. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm snickering a little bit here, but I'm not kidding about what I'm saying. You know, we frequently say, and of course, who else can use the word bitch in a lighthearted manner? But we say dump that bitch in a very lighthearted manner on this show. But I'm serious. You are with someone that you absolutely do not love, and you don't know how to walk away, or you don't have the balls to walk away, or you're afraid of her owning everything that you've worked for, and so you stay trying to figure out a way to escape like you're going to dig a tunnel out of prison. Are you one of those people? You could be a man or a woman. Are you one of those people? When you're at home, do you look at that person and they look at you and they just see that blank stare and they're going, what are you thinking about? And you say, nothing. Is that you? Call me now.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
Can you manipulate me into bed?
I don't have to. I just whip out my wallet.
I thought you don't pay for anything.
Oh, I wouldn't give you any money. I just show it to you.
Oh, you just show it to me.
I wouldn't give you a penny.
The Tom Leykis Show. On 100.7, the brand new buzz of Seattle.
The Tom Leykis Show, 1-800-5800-TOM. Are you in a loveless marriage? Let's say hello to Anthony on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello. Anthony.
Yeah.
You busy over there?
Yeah, I'm busy. I'm out here selling my stuff.
Oh.
Later gear.
Maybe you could save a little time for us here.
What's that?
Dean, why don't you tell him the fact of life, and we'll come back with him, and on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello. Ann? Everybody's distracted. Hugo on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom, what's going on?
Not much, Hugo.
You know what? You hit a soft spot with this topic, bro. I've been married for almost 10 years, and every day I go home and it's like, wonder why am I still doing this, man?
When did you know you were in a loveless marriage, Hugo? And I don't mean sexless. I mean loveless. Maybe it is sexless, too. I don't know, but...
Well, it's both, actually.
Uh-huh.
You know, that's the funny part about it is both, you know. I would say when she found out that she was pregnant with my second child, and it's like, you know, I think we had our second child out of desperation to try and think, you know, we can make things work, you know. But obviously it didn't, man. You know, it just made things worse. It's like, you know, now I'm working 17 hours a day. And like you said, man, sometimes I get off of work and just, you know, drive around, and it's like, you know, why am I still doing this?
So when you get out of work, you drive around sometimes and kill time?
Yes, you know, hopefully.
Because you don't want to go home?
Hoping by the time I get home, she's asleep, and I don't have to look, you know, I have to see, you know, like you said, that, you know.
When's the last time you had sex with her?
God, dude, what year is it?
Really?
Yeah. I'd say about, you know, maybe a year and a half.
Why do you stay?
Maybe because I was brought up that, you know what, you never abandon your family, man. It's like, you know, I don't know. You know, seriously, I don't know. I wish I would, you know, be upfront with myself and, you know.
Is this your fault or her fault?
You know, I blame myself. You know, I think, you know, everything is, you know, it always takes two to tango, bro. You know, you have to blame yourself. You know, you can't always blame the other person, you know.
So it's your fault. What did you do wrong? Tell us.
Well, you know, I did. I got married too young, and I don't know if I was, you know, I wasn't ready for the commitment. I wasn't, you know, I don't know. You know what? That's the funny part about this. I don't know exactly, but I know that.
Was she knocked up when you married her?
Yeah.
All right, so that's why you married her.
Yes. Like I said, trying, you know, like the caller said, you know, I'm trying to do the right, you know, thinking that is the right thing to do, and it's like, you know what, trying to make a happy home and trying to, you know, make things right, you know, in the eyes of man, I should say. But, you know, in making making it right in the eyes of man, you know, I'm screwing myself every day. You know, and like I said, I've been doing this for well over 5 years now, where I just go and it's like, you know what, why? You know, that other show you said you had when, you know, they said, you know, if you wish your spouse dead or whatever. You know what, I really don't wish her dead, but I just wish, you know what, if I could do it over again, I know I would try and I would definitely do things differently.
I'm sure you would. Thank you, Hugo.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
5:30 on.
This is the Tom Leykis Show.
From Los Angeles at 1-800-5800-TOM. Are you in a loveless marriage? I want to hear all the details. Samantha, hello.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
Pretty good, Samantha.
Good. I'm definitely the person you're talking about.
Do tell.
Well, I've been in this relationship 8 years now. We were together 5 before we decided to get married. I knew I shouldn't have gotten married. Just, God did it anyways. It was easier to deal with it than it was to get out of it.
Were you knocked up?
No, didn't. Actually, I have a 6-month-old.
Why do you say it was easier?
Because we had already lived together. I was a friend of the family. I was good with the family. He was good with my family.
Yeah, but so are a lot of people.
I've actually even gone as far as moving out.
When did you know that you were in a loveless relationship?
Well, it's been a while. I mean,
when?
I was 16 when we first got together.
Right.
He was 26.
Right? And when did you know you didn't love him?
It's not so much, I would say that I don't love him.
Loveless means there is no love.
Even the sex isn't even good anymore.
Well, when did you know it was loveless?
Before we got married. So
Why did you have a kid with somebody you don't love?
I guess I don't know. I'm not sure.
So life just washes over you like a tidal wave. You just let anything, you don't care. Whatever happens, happens.
No kidding. Isn't it terrible? He's been out of work. I've supported us for off and on for the past 2 years. It's just, and I know.
And you don't love him. I mean, you realize that sounds terrible, so you're trying to backpedal here. But you know you don't love him.
I guess I don't. I even went as far as the other night. We were supposed to go out, and he decided he wanted to go out with his friends instead. So we got into a big old argument, and of course you're mad, you say things, and I told him just go kill yourself. It'll be easier for him to die.
Did he think you were kidding?
Probably. He said, I'll try. And I'm like, what do you mean there's no trying involved? Just drive off the freeway.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Isn't that terrible? I'm like, I don't know.
Now, again, you had a kid with somebody you knew you didn't love.
Yes. And
what were you thinking? Were you thinking?
Obviously not. Obviously not.
I mean, you were young enough to change direction. I mean, you had the kid 6 months ago, so you got knocked up when you were, 22?
Yeah.
You were young enough to change things, and you didn't.
And I'm still young enough, and I still can, and I still don't.
But now you're doing it with a kid and all the complications. This guy's the father of your kid now.
I know.
Somebody you don't love.
I know. I know this, and I knew this, and yet I still didn't do anything. I just hoped it would get better.
You hoped it would get better. And by now, as a listener to the Tom Leykis Show, you know it doesn't get better. It only gets worse, right?
I know. And it's getting worse. It's getting worse.
How so?
Just not respecting each other anymore.
Well, you're telling him to kill himself. I think that pretty much says it all.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, huh?
Right. So how long will you stay?
I don't know.
You don't know. Will you have another kid? But maybe you'll have another kid with him.
No, I'm definitely doing something about that.
What are you doing?
Control.
Oh, now you're going to get on birth control.
I was actually on them before and I stopped.
You stopped because you thought to yourself, my life isn't as hopeless as it possibly could be. I want to make it even worse.
Don't sugarcoat things for me, Tom.
I want to have a kid with a man I don't love, a man I do not respect, a man I don't respect myself for being with.
Boy, that just sounds terrible, doesn't it?
And it's completely true.
I know, you make it sound worse than I think it is.
No, you make it sound better than it is. You try to convince yourself it's not as bad as it is.
That's correct.
But it's worse than you think.
It is. It honestly is.
So why are you still there?
I guess, I don't know. I don't have the money to move out on my own, and he would kind of create problems for me if I do try and move out.
What kind of problems would he try to create for you?
Just going as far as just being a little on the psychotic side, causing problems for me at work.
So you fell in love. No, you're not in love. So you got with a guy who is psychotic and had a child with a psychotic man.
Correct. Does that mean I'm going to have a psychotic child?
Well, doesn't it say something about you?
Yeah.
What does it say?
That I should think about myself a little bit more.
Maybe you don't love yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And I've always been, and now that I've married him, I've not wanted to fail, I guess you'd say. I come from a divorced family, and I said I'm only going to get married once, blah, 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 all that crap. But I'm only 24.
Uh-huh. You know what? The word only doesn't go with 24 anymore. Only is 19.
Yeah, good point. And at 19, I could have done something. Did I know?
Yeah, you realize that after the age of 25, the odds of your getting married, in your case, again, start to diminish.
Oh, I did not realize that.
Yes, and when you add in the fact that you have a child with a man you have no respect for and do not love and will be involved in your life for the next 17 and a half years, the odds diminish even further.
Exactly. Nobody wants anyone with baggage.
Well, you got baggage, and some of it is not your husband. Some of it is in your own head.
Yeah, I know. And I know this. Do I do anything? No.
No, you do nothing about it.
Exactly.
Now, may I just take a wild guess here? You weigh a little more than average.
I didn't used to.
No one used to, dear, but now you do.
Now, after the baby, yeah.
Right, and you didn't bother to lose the weight?
No, not really.
No, because you're depressed and miserable and feel like life is hopeless.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Tend to drink a little more than I should.
Yeah, there we go. It's always good for the weight.
Yeah, exactly. Tend to smoke a little more weed than I should.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But somehow that all just makes it better.
Oh, you think so?
Temporarily.
Well, you wake up when you're 28 and you're still with this guy, and the birth control slipped one night and you have a second kid with him.
Don't say that.
Dear, you're heading in that direction with your foot on the gas.
Unfortunately, I think you're right, Mr. Leykis.
Not much more I can do at that point.
Tom Leykis.
1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
Hit it, hit it, hit it. Quit it.
Tom Leykis Show.
On 100.7, The Buzz of Seattle.
Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. Are you in a loveless marriage? Julie on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Julie?
Yes, this is Julie.
Hi.
Hi. I'm on the perfect loveless relationship.
Tell us about it.
I've been married for 10 years. I have 2 children with this man, and we haven't slept together for about 6 years already. We sleep in separate rooms. Though still we're living together. So I would recommend all you listeners not to do that, because obviously for a woman it's just a waste of years.
How many years now? 6 years?
6 years.
Have you been with anyone else? Come on, Julie, tell me the truth.
Yes, I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Tell me that story. How did that happen?
Well, but I have heard. I don't really want to go into that.
Joe, you don't have to tell me all the details. Just tell me how it happened.
At work, I should say.
You met someone at work?
Yeah.
And where'd you go, into the broom closet or to his house?
Sometimes to his house, sometimes to a hotel.
How was it?
The best sex I ever had in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah. And ever since, I've never been able to be with my husband again.
Oh, so did he come to you and want to have sex with you?
I think it was mutual. It just kind of happened. And
No, I mean your husband. Did he come to you and say he wanted to have sex with you and you said no?
Right.
Wow, because the other guy was so much better.
No, my husband had some issues. He, I don't know.
Couldn't maintain an erection?
No, that wasn't it. Actually, I found out that he liked to wear nylons and heels.
And nylons and what?
And heels.
And high heels? Oh, my God.
So that was kind of creepy, and it just disgusts me to think about being in with him ever again.
Oh, my God. So are you still seeing the guy at the office?
From time to time, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
And is he the only one?
For now.
Oh, but have there been others?
Yes.
There have. Were they all at the office, too?
The others were just, quickie.
Listen to you. How do you meet these guys? You go out to bars? Where do you meet them?
Yeah, at bars.
You go out to bars, so your husband says, oh, have a good time, honey. I'll take care of the kids.
I actually don't tell him where I'm going. He doesn't need to know my business.
And does he ask?
No.
He doesn't care.
We kind of just share the same house.
Once you leave, he can go right into your closet and start digging for stuff to wear.
I don't care.
That's what I'm saying, though. He doesn't mind if you go out. He's waiting for you to leave.
Yeah, probably.
You've got some bras he hasn't tried on. What's your cup size?
Mine?
Yes.
I'm a 34D.
34D. Does he fit into a 34D? I wonder.
I don't think so. Anyway, Tom, I just wanted to let you know that I'm in...
So how long are you going to stay there? Julie, how long are you going to stay with this guy?
I don't know. I don't have the guts to leave.
You don't have the guts to... Well, my whole staff will come over there and service you if that's what you'd like.
I bet they do.
They would be happy to help.
Probably.
Well, you could cherry pick anybody on the staff here. They're ready to go.
Well, Dina sounds pretty interesting.
Would you, Dean? We could set that up.
Maybe next time.
We could send Dean right down there to the South Bay to get the job done.
Well, Tom, you have a good day now.
All right, Julie. Nice talking to you.
Tom Leykis.
1-800-5800-TOM.
Tom Leykis.
1-800-5800-866.
What is your take on internet dating?
Most of the women are fat and don't like to send you pictures.
The Tom Leykis Show.
But 100.7.
Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. Are you in a loveless marriage? This is Susan on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Susan.
How are you?
Do you care?
Not really.
I didn't think so.
Yeah. Hey, Tom.
Yeah.
Your show is for me today.
Do tell.
Well, I've been in a relationship for 2 years.
Okay.
Actually married for 2 years, in a relationship for 4.
Mm-hmm.
And when you said, are you walking dead, that's me. And the worst part about it is, I'm also in love with somebody who's a graduate from your university.
Oh, boy. Well,
The Tom Leykis University.
That's not going anywhere. So you know that. That's you're a booty call.
Oh, no.
Sure you are.
Nah, come on.
Dear, he's with you and you're married to somebody else.
Yeah, but, I mean, he has all these other women, too.
Who makes you think he's in love with you?
Which one?
The guy you're screwing around with on the side.
What makes me think he loves me?
Yeah.
The way he treats me. He's really good to me. He is graduated from university. He doesn't take any. He's not Mr. Nice Guy, but my husband will do anything in the world for me, buy me anything, and that's not what I want.
Well, why'd you marry him?
It was easier.
Easier than what?
Then we have many businesses together, and
so wait a minute.
Finance.
How long have you been with him?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
And when did you know you didn't love him?
As soon as I started dating the guy that is your student.
And how long ago was that?
4.5 years ago.
So 6 months after meeting this guy, why did you keep doing business deals with him and stuff like that?
Because can I say a bad word?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm a duck, okay?
Yeah, well, you just see, I said you couldn't do it, and you did it anyway.
That's right.
Well, we had to bleep it.
I beep it. No, honestly, this show is definitely for me. It's exactly, and I can tell you, I'm staring, like when you're talking about staring into the person,
right.
I feel like I'm dead when I'm around him, and I crave to be around the other person, and by the way, his name's Tom, too.
Uh-huh. And I understand you also have a child. Is it with the guy you're married to?
Well, we're not sure. We're going to have a DNA.
You're not sure. When did this happen?
7 months ago.
So it could be this other guy, and does your husband know there's another man?
Yes.
He knows?
Yes.
And he tolerates that?
Yeah. He's actually been to court with him a few times and tries to get restraining orders against him, and it's pretty bad. It doesn't work.
He tries to get restraining orders against him? Why? Does this guy harass your husband?
No, he harasses him by being with me.
Well, you can't get a restraining order for that.
No, I know.
Uh-huh. So why do you stay married?
I'm trying to figure out a way to get out of it.
Well, you tell him I'm with another man and this kid may not be yours.
You know what he says to me? He says, I don't care as long as we're together. I don't care. You can do what you need to do. Come back to me whenever you're done with that.
He's more screwed up than you are.
Yes.
And you're screwed up.
I need your help. What do I do?
Oh. First of all, you shouldn't be married.
Okay.
Second of all, you shouldn't be having babies unless you know who the father is.
I agree.
And that's stupid.
I agree.
And it's not fair to the kid that you created.
I agree.
All right.
I do agree.
And you shouldn't be in business. You shouldn't be in business with people you're involved with personally, or vice versa. You shouldn't be involved personally with people you're a partner with.
Right. I agree.
It's bad business.
I agree.
But why'd you do it?
I don't know. It's screwy, man. I'm trying to get out of it now. That's why I'm calling you. I need your help.
Well, get a divorce.
A, get a divorce.
B, start using reliable birth control.
I have that.
All right. C, you don't need a relationship with the guy you're dating on the side or anybody. How much takes time alone?
Be alone? Okay.
Yeah, I think be alone for a while.
That sounds like a good idea.
Just have sex and learn what it's like to be alone for a while.
Actually, I've been alone before, and it wasn't so bad.
You know what? You didn't do it enough. It's time to do it again. Gotta run.